Hi everyone, this is Suzanne Wagner, and thank you so much for joining me. We're doing the numerology and the astrology for January 28th, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 16, and if you add the 1 and the 6 together, you get the number 7. The number 7 is a number of strategy and structure. It's about discipline, following through, figuring things out from a cognitive place, and then putting a plan into action eventually. So strategy, the number 7 today, I want to look at as confidence. And that the path in this moment that we are on is kindness. So confidence that is kind is a journey this world could use in massive ways. The question seems to be, what kind of world do we want to live in? I know I want a world that allows for safety and security for children, one that protects women and does not try to exploit any group. Those are steps that allow for the cultivation of a world that has peace and acceptance. What can you do today to begin to cultivate the confidence that is needed to have the courage to support kindness? I believe in the heart and soul of the American people. I know the kindness that is in the heart and soul of this country. I know that we have been battered and bruised over the past many years. I know that pandemics forced us to pull back and reflect. But I believe that you cannot take the experience of freedom from the memories of those that have lived and breathed it. And that air of freedom is blowing and energizing each of us to step forward and reclaim the heart and soul that our ancestors struggled to find and to give to us. I believe we are ready to take back what was ours in the first place. All we need is a strategy to implement our choices. That is why we are in the number 7 day. The astrology today. The full moon is today in Leo. I know for 2 nights ago, sleep was difficult at best, but last night the dreams were dynamic, colorful, and insightful. One of the positives of a full moon. No doubt there are plenty of challenges under this full moon and February's new moon. During these moons, it is a good idea to be flexible and adaptable. Leo reminds us to keep our heart open or help others to open their heart. We are in the time of Aquarius, and you might feel the need to detach from the drama of this world. You can do that and still hold a higher ideal for humanity. As the full moon is being pulled from other directions, such as with demanding Mars and reactive Uranus, now is the time to open to new ways of thinking. For the moment, that my way or the highway attitude needs to be put to the side. People have hit the walls so often of their old reality that now some may want to just get away from it all. 2021 will ask a lot of us on many levels. It is a year to figure out how to balance the extremes in our world. A big job, but one that we can manage. Venus aligns with Pluto in Capricorn now. Emotions rise up and can be so strong that they will distract and attract depending on the patterns manifesting in the reality. Value systems are going to change drastically over the next few years. Boundaries in relationships will become a new and clearly defined parameter moving forward. It is time to get serious about finances in the long term. Be proud for the many things and actions we have manifested in 2020. Notice how we are healthier and clearer as to who we finally are becoming. There is more courage and optimism slowly arising, and that is good because some will be using this energy in impulsive and combative ways. Let confidence grow and give you a wonderful sense of discovery and allow a generosity of spirit to expand into our communities. My quote for today is actually from T.F. Tout. We investigate the past not to deduce practical political lessons, but to find out what really happened. And I want to talk about that for a quick minute because my exploration of history and my fascination with history is definitely not about just kind of being able to recite facts and figures, but to recognize that history is written by the winners, and that does not mean that history is actually always true. And the further we get away from something historically, the more we actually start to get little bits of information coming out in different ways, and suddenly you find little pieces or of things that are written that let you know why people were making certain decisions at that particular time. And that helps you start to piece together what the real truth was underneath it all. And I say that because I want people to learn discernment and to be able to have that ability to see past the words on a page and to see what's happening in between those words, and what are happening in the spaces and what's not said as it kind of goes on, and to really recognize that because we have amazing things like LIDAR and all this crazy stuff happening in the world, like we can suddenly see, oh my God, like there were a lot more people in America in the Americas than we previously thought, and there were huge towns with millions of people, and that civilization, Western culture did not create civilization. Civilization has been around for a very, 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 very long time, and now that we don't have the cloud of certain religious programming on top of our minds, and we can open our mind to the pieces of the information that are there. There's so much information coming in now that you just can't push it to the side anymore. It's just an overflow of truth coming out about things from hundreds of years ago and even thousands of years ago. And that to me is interesting, and that's what's fascinating. Like what have we not been told? Why have we not been told that? What was actually really going on? And I say that not because I believe in a lot of the rhetoric that is coming out on a lot of different levels, but to me, what is, when somebody has rhetoric, what are they actually trying to say? What are they actually trying to get you to believe? What is their agenda in that? And it's amazing how much information is out there if you have the discipline and the language skills and historical referencing to do in order to find out maybe what was really going on that you didn't see or they didn't want you to see. All right. So my blog for today is based on all of that. So how often I have studied history and marveled at the chronic repetition of human dysfunction. And while that perpetuation of suffering was going on, humanity was repeatedly gifted great teachers of conscience and truth to help guide them out of the patterns of karmic consequence and into a place of truth and freedom. And historically, I have marveled at how few could see that truth, how few really got it and were willing to follow the difficult path towards compassion, understanding, and acceptance. And then you see the toxic fear that so many held that they could not or would not hear the truth, no matter how it was presented or who was presenting it. History shows again and again how so many became the unknowing tools of political treachery to tear down the very hope that they had most needed to embrace. One can tell goodness by the actions that mirror the words of a person, and those need to be congruent. Words spoken mean a great deal. Words spoken are magical in how they move out and ensnare others in their dreams or delusions. Words can be poison and tear souls apart, or they can be passion that inspires greatness. I'm amazed at the intense distortion that must be necessary to make some believe in toxic words that breed more suffering, and then they believe them so foolishly that they are then compelled to repeat them as if they are worthy of being spoken again. Some words reach into a dark and hidden place in a soul. Those words are intended to trigger fear. Fear of loss, fear of being replaced, fear of not being important, and fear of being obsolete. And when those words come out, you know that something is at the end of its cycle. Because all things have a beginning and an end, even hate. Thanks, everyone.